My fiance moved across the country to live with his ex-wife because she has stage 4 cancer and postponed our wedding until February so he could care for her. But when I told him I needed him to come home, he admitted he lied about how bad her cancer was, so I'd let him move in with her. Posted by you/engagedthrowaway. My fiance, 28M, and I, 26F, dated for 2 years and have been engaged for 9 months, with a wedding date set for early January. We have a healthy, honest relationship, and I've never had any reason to doubt him. He and Caroline, 28F, were high school sweethearts who married very young. They were both 22, right out of college. They divorced after 2 years. Max told me that they got married too quickly and didn't realize how different their relationship would be in the real world, i.e., when they were both working full-time jobs and struggling to pay the rent. They split up on good terms, but didn't keep in touch. He remained in our home city, while she pursued a modeling career and began traveling extensively. 3 months ago, Caroline contacted Max over social media out of the blue, saying she was in town and wanted to meet for coffee. He agreed. Over coffee, she told him that she had recently been diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. Her odds of survival were low, but she was determined to fight it through surgery and chemo. She said that all she wanted was for Max to be by her side throughout her treatment. Caroline's parents passed away shortly after she married Max. She has no siblings and the rest of her family lives overseas. She described Max as the closest thing to family she has left. I absolutely sympathize with Caroline. The next day Max had her over to our apartment and she was completely lovely, clearly trying very hard to be optimistic even in the face of her life potentially ending before she turns 30. I feel terrible for her and for the situation that she's in, and I fully supported Max being there for her. Her first surgery was later that month. Max flew across the country, we live on the East Coast, she's on the West, and checked into a hotel a few minutes from her apartment. He's a writer, so working from his laptop is no issue. We spoke on the phone or on Skype almost every day for the 2 weeks he was over there. Caroline had her surgery at the beginning of June. Unfortunately, it was not entirely successful. Her doctors moved to the next method, chemo. Max came home after her surgery to tell me this. He explained that Caroline's treatment plan was set to begin in July and end in late January. It would be an incredibly difficult time period for her, and she wanted him with her at all times. We can't afford to pay for a hotel until January, so he moved into her apartment, sleeping on her sofa. He's been there for the past month and we continue to Skype, though only a couple times a week now. When we spoke yesterday, Max gently told me that based on Caroline's condition, he wouldn't feel right leaving her so close to the end of her treatment. He'd like for us to postpone the wedding until February, at the very least, so that he can stay with her until her treatment is over. I'm so conflicted. I feel awful for resenting Caroline at all, she has cancer. She's suffering immensely. But the resentment is still there. I resent her for needing Max constantly holding her hand, as though she has absolutely no friends of her own. I resent Max, too, for agreeing to this situation. We won't be seeing each other in person for months now, on top of our wedding being postponed. I don't know what to do. I have no idea how I'm supposed to feel. Right now I'm just full of anger and guilt, and I don't know how to explain it to anyone else in my life. Edit. Everyone seems to be in agreement that this is a completely inappropriate, if incredibly sad, situation that Max isn't handling very well. I'll speak to him either tonight or tomorrow, whenever we Skype next, and tell him in no uncertain terms that I want him to come home. From there, we can decide what to do, since I don't want to leave Caroline high and dry. But him living there until February is out of the question. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, you have the right to resent Max, he picked his ex-wife over his fiancée. He may feel like he has a responsibility to her, but he has a responsibility to his future wife. He is asking you to put your life on hold for his ex-wife. You absolutely have the right to feel angry about this. Can you see yourself marrying him after this? Op's response, honestly, I don't know. Part of me feels like I should admire him, as in, oh, look at how selfless he's being for her. But the other part is thinking, but what about me? I want him to come home. But am I really going to demand that he leave his terminally ill ex-wife alone? Before he left, he said, we've got our whole lives to spend together. She might only have a year. Commenter 2, he's intending on living with his ex until February? And you are to do what? Just wait? No, your resentment and discomfort is not wrong. I feel intense sympathy for her, for your partner, absolutely. Passing away is a terrifying cold thing. But he's supposed to be with you. It was not her right to ask him to be with her as a husband is through this horror. Did she ask you? My fear is, okay, so February comes, her chemo's done, now she's weak and miserable from chemo. Is he going to leave her then, feeling like that? He should not have asked you over Skype. He should have been there in person. When is the next time you are supposed to see him? Op's response, we're not in a bad place financially, but we just couldn't afford a plane ticket every month. We've been trying to save up to buy a house after the wedding, not to mention the cost of the wedding itself. So to answer your question, end of January or early February? That's when I'll be seeing him in person, according to his plan. Commenter 2, so, just before the wedding? He expects to spend all this time away from you and then just marry you, without you getting any warming up time to get to remember what it's like to be close to him? Without him getting any cooling down time after having lived like a husband with this other woman for most of a year? That would be entirely unacceptable to me. I can't figure out a way to phrase this delicately, so I hope that you will forgive me my bluntness. If this relationship ends, are you going to be financially okay? The emotional stuff is one thing, this has to be incredibly difficult, and I admire your composure, but just in terms of strictly physical, if he says I'm old enough to love her the way I wanted to when we were younger, and give up on marrying you, are you going to be able to make it? I hope that you're saving something aside for yourself. Something not in the joint account, if there is one. Op's response, trust me, I'm feeling far from composed right now. But thank you. If we're looking at the absolute worst case scenario, the relationship ending, then the money that we've saved for the wedding and the house could be split between us. That's the only money we've got in a joint account right now. Otherwise, we keep individual accounts. So I should have enough to remain on my feet if I end up on my own. I really hope it doesn't come to that. Commenter 3, I feel horribly crass saying this, but I can't imagine them living together, as former lovers, near the possible end of her life, and them not being intimate at some point. Admittedly, she'll be in an awful physical state, but it's such an emotionally charged situation that it's highly likely. It might be a good idea to schedule a couple sessions with an experienced relationship and grief counselor because it's an unusual problem, and if handled inappropriately it could end your relationship. Op's response, I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought that. But I hated myself for even considering it. Max has never given me a reason to doubt him, and Caroline's intentions seemed innocent. But I have no idea what state she's in now. The only time I met her was back when she visited our apartment. Commenter 4, I think all of you painting Caroline as if she did something wrong are stupid. Max deserves 100% of the blame. Caroline is allowed to ask whoever she wants whatever she wants to ask them. Max is allowed to say no, ex-wife, I won't leave my wife to be for you, not now, not ever, and not face any judgment, because what an absurd thing that is to do. Op, I don't know how you can possibly recover from this one. You are not selfish to leave this relationship. You are not selfish to tell him he comes home right now or it's over. You're not selfish to resent him or her for what they've put on you, but you should make sure you understand that he is 100% to blame for this. He, at every moment along this path, should have taken a look around and realized he was engaged to you, not her, and it is not his fault that she has no one closer than him. Also, he's living with his ex-wife. Can you imagine any circumstance where a guy leaves his fiancée to live with his ex-wife and they aren't, at the very least, cuddling and extremely emotionally intimate? I'd be done with him, if I was you. What an obscenely selfish man. Op's response, wow. I needed to read that. You're right. Seeing so many people in agreement, that Max and Caroline, though mostly Max, are being selfish, has decided me. I'll speak to him tonight or tomorrow and give an ultimatum. Either he comes home, or we need to rethink our relationship. Update, 1 day later. First off, thank you all so much for your advice and words of support. I'm sorry that I couldn't reply to every comment, reply, or PM that I got, but I woke up to a locked post and over 100 unread messages. I promise, I did read through every one of them. Each perspective was incredibly helpful and made me look at the situation in a completely different way. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. I spoke to Max this morning. I told him that as terrible as I feel for Caroline, I don't want him living over there until February. I suggested that we brainstorm some sort of schedule that allowed him to continue visiting her, even postponing our honeymoon and using that money to fund his plane tickets. Several commenters brought up her moving over here for treatment, so I mentioned that as well, offering up our spare bedroom. I emphasized that I didn't fault him for wanting to help an old loved one in what could be her final days, but that I couldn't help but feel marginalized, especially so close to our wedding. Max didn't speak very much, just listened while I rambled on. When I couldn't think of anything else to add, I asked him to please say something. So he told me the truth. Caroline was never stage 4. She was stage 2. He assured me that the rest of his story is true. Caroline asking him to be with her, the initial surgery being unsuccessful, her chemo treatment plan, etc., but apparently her chances of survival are far greater than he led me to believe. Max said he lied because he felt it was the only way I could understand his need to be with her. He thought that if her situation seemed less dire than life or death, I wouldn't agree to him essentially moving across the country for her. He admitted to telling her that our wedding had been postponed to next August, giving her the impression that him being away until February would be no problem. He has also been the one insisting on remaining by her side. After her surgery, she had given him permission to return home, saying that it wouldn't be fair to pressure him into living with her throughout her entire chemo treatment, as much as she would have liked him there. He refused to leave. He told her that I supported this decision fully. Max swears that he's not in love with her still, but I just can't believe that. He lied to my face. Before she visited our apartment back in May, he warned me not to mention her being stage 4 as she was still extremely sensitive about it. And I completely bought into that lie. I trusted him. He put his past with her over his future with me. I'll be spending the next few months apartment hunting and canceling wedding plans. Thank you all for your kind words. Edit, I'm blown away by the outpouring of support I'm receiving. I wish I could respond to each of you individually. Thank you so much. This is a wonderful community, and I truly appreciate all of your thoughts. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, oh my god, I am so sorry. What a turd. You, on the other hand, handled this beautifully. Please lean on the people close to you in this time. Or lean on us. I know you don't think it right now, but you're going to be okay. Many internet hugs being sent your way. Op's response, thank you. I just feel like such an idiot. All this time, and I never once questioned his story. I never even saw Caroline. He told me that she was too embarrassed by her appearance to join in on our Skype calls. I just took him at his word. How did Max take the breakup? OP, he kept apologizing to me, not very sincerely. He just sounded tired, and when I said that I'd be moving out as soon as possible, he replied, that's probably for the best. The one thing he asked for was my ring, which I agreed to mail to Caroline's address. I'm realizing that he checked out of this relationship a while ago. What about the ring? Is it an heirloom? Does Op need to return that? OP, no, it's not an heirloom. We picked it out together. I couldn't sell it. Anything I bought with that money, I'd never be able to look at without thinking of him. I'm more than happy to return the ring to him because it's a no-strings-attached way of getting it out of my life. Hopefully, it can be a nice reminder to him of me and why our relationship ended. Op can leave the ring on that counter and let Max deal with it. OP, I might send it addressed to Caroline and include a note explaining to her why things ended between me and Max. Many people here are saying that she deserves to know the truth, since his lies were crafted around her illness. Commenter 2, this is a very good idea, but I would be concerned about Max intercepting it and making sure she never sees it. Op's response, good point. I could always ask a friend of mine to send it on my behalf, so that it won't be our apartment on the return address. But this is probably wishful thinking. I should just leave it on the counter and move on. Op's plans now that she has ended her engagement to Max. OP, I intend to go no contact with him, but I might send Caroline some sort of note. She's been completely innocent throughout all of this and she deserves to know the truth, which I doubt he's told her.